So this buck I'd seen the weekend before. I was out actually hog hunting and got a hog that weekend. I don't think I got that one on camera, but this guy came out and wasn't able to get him on camera quick enough. I didn't want to spook him. And then the following weekend, this is the archery opener, and I was for sure thought that I would have another chance at this buck. I was kicking myself because of I didn't get a shot opportunity there because of uh, not proper planning. As you could see when the camera went out of focus on the limbs, I needed to cut those down. Those were all blocking my shots. I couldn't get a shot through there. And the next day I did. I went out there and cut all those limbs out, cleared all that shooting out, because that buck had come out there 2 different sits in a week span. And so I was for sure thinking he would come through there. See that trail right in front of this stand? That's the trail that he was using coming on through, along with other deer and hogs. But I thought for sure I would get him, and I never saw him again. That's the only time I got him on camera or saw him in person. And I wish I could have gotten a better camera shot of him. He walked 20 yards from my tree stand and right down the open, never stopped. And I was trying to get the camera arm in place and without spooking him. And then once I had it on him, then I was worried about trying to kill him, and it just didn't happen. So my whole season was basically after that buck. I had him on camera a few times in daylight, a bunch at night. He was bedding up on the neighbor's property and coming over in the evenings and feeding some mornings. But, yeah. Didn't get him. I did get a picture of him in late December coming through at night. So I know he was still alive in December. So I thought this year maybe he was still alive and would be a monster. But I never got him on camera. In fact, I saw several deer that were not quite his caliber, but very close. And most of them were still alive in December when I had game trail pictures of them, but didn't see them this year. There was the one video of the buck with the deformed antlers that I'm guessing damaged them during velvet, because he wasn't hurt or injured or anything. He was a perfectly healthy deer. And I'm pretty sure that's the buck that's toward the end of this video. And I saw that buck all the time, so that was his home range right here. He had no brow tines this 2020 season, you'll see later. And I think that's the buck that I see with the deformed antlers this year. If it's not him, there was a 10-point last year that was a regular that was maybe 13 inches wide. Probably legal, but barely. He was a young deer, beautiful, symmetrical 10-point. That could be that deformed antler buck. But it's either the 8-point with no brows or the 10-point. But yeah, there was 4 or 5 bucks this 2020 season, and yeah, don't know what happened to them. These videos, this one, there's a lot of young bucks, and they're all fighting, and so I kind of captured that. This was a morning hunt. Real early. I was trying to get it, but the camera didn't focus too well. I'll get some better close-up shots later on during this video. But yeah, I was reading through different social sites and stuff, and it seems like a lot of people weren't seeing the deer they saw in 2020 this year. I don't know if the freeze got them. maybe those bucks that I saw got shot late, but generally my neighbors, if they're gonna kill, they kill the 1st of November for the most part. It would be unusual for them to have made it to December and toward the end of December not make it. The season ends the first weekend of January. There's two guys sparring. It's hard to see because my camera's focused on that tree limb in front. I've got it on autofocus and trying to self-film and experiment, so hopefully I'll get better and learn how to put this on manual quickly and adjust the lens myself. It's just hard to do. You're trying not to move too much because you don't know what might come up behind you, because where I'm at, the woods are directly behind me, and there's a trail that runs 5 yards from me, and it slopes down into a bottom. And so they bed down in there, which is bad for thermals on scent, but this stand has just been so good to me for early mornings. And it's usually right where these bucks are, or where I saw that big buck at the opening. I've shot a ton of deer out of this tree. That's why I kind of overlooked nailing those limbs down, because I had 2 other lanes that they usually come down and stop, or I can get a shot. But I also have never tried to film and hunt, and so that delayed me. I was worried about the camera instead of my bow. Oh, it was windy that day. But all these young bucks were frisky. It was probably at least 30 minutes, maybe an hour of them all around, just fighting each other. They'd get in pairs and play fight, and then they'd split up and get another group of pairs and spar. It's pretty good 1.5-year-olds, at least for us. And this little parcel back here I hunt is about 13 acres in size. But it's a perfect travel corridor for these deer, getting on to going through to some bigger properties, bigger woods. And then I keep a protein feeder going. I was doing it almost year round, but I didn't this past year. It just cost too much to run. And then I got a bigger corn feeder, and corn's cheaper, and I can limit how much the coons and stuff get and how much it throws out. That's the biggest problem with the protein feeder that's free choice, is the raccoons just eating it. But I did keep a lot of deer around that way, and some good bucks. So maybe that hurt me in this past season, 2021, though I did have the protein the first part of the season. So I don't think that really mattered since I had it out there in October. Probably my best hunt uh, all season. I didn't even get on camera. It was raining. It wasn't a heavy rain, and I was in this same tree stand where I'm filming now, and uh, there was a doe in heat, and the bucks were all over her. And the buck with the no brow tines you'll see later, he was on her and constantly trying to fight other bucks and keep them away, keep her tended. And I almost made up my mind to shoot that no brow tine buck. I got tired of seeing him, and I had opportunities, and he's not a bad deer at all. I just had become infatuated with that buck you saw at the beginning of the video, and that was, I'm in a one buck county basically. You can kill a spike, but you can only kill one branched antler buck 13 inches or greater, and so you have to be kind of choosy on what you take, because that's it. Now I'm lucky I've got a couple other properties in different counties that are 20 acres and 50 acres or so in size. And Texas is a 3 buck state, so I can kill 3 bucks a year. I just have to do it in the 3 different counties. I think I get a close-up on this fight if I remember correctly. Now these two are going to kind of spar. That one's fighting with one hand tied behind his back. That one antler missing. There was even some good bucks on one of the other properties that I hunt in a different county in this 2020 season. Some really good ones, but they were active the same time this property was active with the bigger bucks. And I was solely focused on that one buck that I ignored that property. You know, you only get so many days to hunt when you work full time and you have 2 small children and you live 2 to 3 hours away from where you can hunt. You have to pick and choose wisely when you go, and even when you can. I rely heavily on trail cameras for that very reason, so I can try and make every sit be the best one. So 2020 overall was a pretty good hunting season as far as activity and seeing some pretty good bucks for this property. But no dice. Didn't get one on the ground. Had a lot of fun though. And that no brow tine buck is coming up. He was kind of the bully of the area, dominant buck. And he didn't have the biggest rack, but he took care of business. I'm guessing he probably pushed out that buck that I was wanting the most, because that buck really hardly didn't come back that much. This wasn't his home range, and the Brown buck had pretty much taken this one over. So at the end of this video, I have a lot of those game photos from my Spartan Trail camera of the bucks. Check them out. He stayed this long. That was one of the smaller ones. Those two. There's the No Brown buck. That's the buck that we saw that couldn't focus on the camera, or I couldn't get the camera to focus. That last one was a 10 point. There's a No Brown again. No Brown. Thanks for watching.